Every single horror movie on this list is one of the best horror movies released in recent memory, and they were all released within a 2-year window. 2017 and 2018 might be the greatest back-to-back years in horror. This period was fucking ridiculous for horror. So 2018 saw the release of one of the greatest horror movies of all time, Hereditary. I think that Ari Aster created something that horror has been trying to replicate ever since this was released. That same year, we got the remake of Suspiria, a remake that refused to remake the original film. We got Nicolas Cage at his most unhinged in Mandy. We were given one of the most beautiful and most horrific science fiction horror movies in Annihilation. And we had a mainstream success in A Quiet Place, a movie that turned silence into a horror mechanism that scared everybody. 2018 saw the release of David Gordon Green's only good horror movie in the Halloween reboot franchise. But then we look just beneath these like huge releases and we see just how deep these 2 years got. Possum came out, one of the bleakest British horror movies we've ever had. Then you have Caliber, another really bleak and nerve-shredding British horror movie. We saw Steven Soderbergh shooting an entire movie on iPhones with Unsane. We were given one of my favorite zombie movies of all time, The Night Eats the World. We also got one of the most underrated found footage horror movies out there in The Devil's Doorway. If you haven't watched this, go check it out. It's terrifying. We were given what I think is one of the greatest British horror movies of all time, Ghost Stories. We also got The Ritual, one of the most underrated folk horror movies of all time. But speaking of underrated folk or occult horror movies, Pyewacket. This movie was incredible. Super underrated, more people should see it. We got the insanely savage Apostle, the equally brutal The House That Jack Built, another really brutal underrated horror movie in Incident in the Ghostland, not to mention one of the scariest movies ever made, Terrified. And while I didn't find this very scary or that good, many people think this is terrifying and a very good horror movie. And let's not forget Terrifier, a tiny independent slasher that eventually grew into one of the greatest modern franchises of all time. And this is when most people were introduced to Art the Clown. And for me, that's what's so impressive about this period. It wasn't that there was just loads of horror films, it was how many different horror movies there were. Slasher, folk horror, found footage, psychological horror, cosmic horror, zombies, body horror, supernatural horror, art house horror, tiny independent films that just blew up into massive franchises. Horror wasn't just moving in one direction, it was moving in every direction. There were so many more movies I could have included on this list, but it would have been a very, very long video. Do you agree? Was 2017 and 2018 the greatest modern back-to-back years in horror?